So it's the 8th of January, about 11 o'clock. It's the first bright day we've had for at least a week. It's just been horrible and wet and grey and damp and miserable. But some of the panels are in full sun, some are in half sun. One of the trailer arrays is in full shade. Half the gate is in full shade. The solar wall is in full shade. And the turbine's just ticking along. The wind is just slightly picking up. But we've had the backup charger on for a few days because of all that grey, just to keep up with consumption. So let's go and have a look what the generation's doing and what the batteries are doing. So the solar is on about, I don't know, 35 or 40, something like that. And the wind is on, well, nothing really. And the volts, I've turned the charge controller up to equalise the batteries because they've been low for a while. So we're on 60 volts at the moment, and there's the charge controller just come on. And the turbine obviously could be feeding into its dump load, and the solar, we have a pair of panels that are just feeding. In fact, it's probably a bit more than a pair of panels, but they're just feeding in all the time, just to keep the volts up a bit. Let's have a look at the specific gravity. Have a look there. The float is floating, and the meniscus is at about halfway up the white, so it's getting there. Yeah, it's about 1250, something like that, so it needs to go up some more. And the batteries are gassing, so that will be cleaning the plates. There you can see the electrolyte level, and those things that are sticking up are the separators between the plates. God, it's wet and horrible, grey, nasty, and there's only a lightish sort of breeze. Look at this. Still, yesterday was a reasonably sunny day, so you got a fair amount of charge, but the couple of days before that it was grey. I mean, we're in short days here. It is the 14th of January, so we shouldn't expect too much. The backup charger's been on for about 24 hours. It's charging about 5 amps, so over a day it sort of helps quite a lot. Let's go and have a look in the battery shed. That's the solar, and that's the wind. The wind's about 5 amps. I think the solar's about 5 amps as well. Let's have a look. That's the solar, 5, so we're charging about 10 amps between the two. And then I know the backup charger is doing a bit as well. And if this voltage goes up with generation, the backup charger current will go down, because it's just a transformer and the rectifier, so it's a ratio effect. I've got it set on the various inputs to the transformer so that it does effectively go down to nothing when the volts are about 56 volts. So it's sort of self-regulating in a lot of ways, which is great. Anyway, that's the state of play. Wonder what the specific gravity is. it's floating, and it's about halfway up the white, so that's not bad. So we got some developments with the charge controller. This is the charge controller I've been using all the time, and it's a homemade one, and it's a comparator and a timer. Let's just zoom in on that if we can. This won't move any further, but that's the adjustment, so it's quite nice. So you can just twiddle that and put it into equalize if you want, or turn it down, or all those sorts of things. However, let's just zoom out from that. However, if you've seen the voltage operated timer relay video, you're going to get some sort of clue as to where we're going with that one. There's a lot of noise in the background, but it's about 2:30 on 15th of January. The solar boom has travelled a long way round, but it's still in full sun. The next set of panels are half shaded. The 412 volt panels, which are just sort of hidden behind the boom, they're in full sun, but all the rest are rather shaded. But it's been a sunny day and cold, but bright sunshine all day, although the sun's been quite low, so the batteries will be fully charged. Let's go and have a look. Well, the charge controller's on at the moment. See the LED on there, so that's been busy working away. Let's have a look round here. With the charge controller on, we're charging about 7 or 8 amps on the solar, nothing on the wind hardly at all, and we're about 55 volts. Charge controller's just dropped out, dropped back in again, because the volts shot up, so it went round to about 40 amps. And then the voltage just shot right up, so therefore it switched off again. Fair enough. This is a divert controller. It's going to be part of the system for running heating as well, when I finally get around to it. Let's have a look at the specific gravity whilst we're here. There we go. It's what I consider to be fully charged. Might go up a tad more. It's 4 o'clock. It's just getting very grey and dark outside, and it was a very sunny morning and then slightly overcast afternoon, so you could see the batteries are fairly well charged up. They're at about 1250 on the hydrometer. So what I thought was, we'll take a reading now, and then we'll take a reading of the consumption meter, and then see what happens about, I don't know, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. We can see how much the specific gravity has changed and how many kilowatts we've used. So we'll just have a look at the consumption meter, which of course is on the output of the inverter. So the wheel's just going round very steadily, and there's the reading, and it's on 15993 point, well, it's between 8 and 9. So let's see what happens tomorrow. So it's 8 o'clock in the morning the next day, and here's the consumption meter, and it's 15997.9, and the wheel's just steadily going round. So that's a difference of 4.1 kilowatts. So let's see what the specific gravity has to say. There we go, and it's at about 12.25, so that has dropped 25 points. It's moved from 1250 to 1225. So let's just think about that. So 25 points is basically 4.1 kilowatts. So it seems to me with this test, and it's been overnight 16 hours, and it's about 3 or 4 degrees centigrade the outside temperature, so freezer outside won't have been running as much, but we've got dehumidifier running in my office to keep it dry and provide distilled water for the batteries. We've had all the lights, the boiler, computer and the central heating pump, computers, this, that and the other, kettles, because we use a 900 watt electric kettle, because why not, and just bits and bobs and this and that. So that's pretty good actually. So now we realise that one major graduation on this hydrometer is equal to 4 kilowatts of electricity. So it's another day, the next day in fact, and it's the 19th, and the consumption meter reads 16004.8. so effectively we've used another 7 kilowatts, and yesterday wasn't very good at charging. It was pretty grey and dismal. So look what's happened. So we've lost some more, another 1.5 major graduations. So the backup charger's on, and it's actually, the sun's come out and we're actually charging about 16 amps as well. That will help a little bit, but nothing will change very quickly. Now then, what I was saying yesterday about this between major graduations, between 1250 and 1225 being 4 kilowatts, that is for this battery. Now this battery is a second-hand battery. I don't quite know how old it is. Another battery would be different. A newer one or a brand new one, you'd get a lot more, I assume. My mate Al, who you've met on the water mill videos, he's got 3 packs of batteries, but they're a nominal 400 amp hours each. So, but some of his are really old, but it would be interesting to do a test on his and see what the difference is. But I just thought I'd point that out, that that rule of thumb is for this battery only. You can of course test your own battery like that. And that's the height of the sun. I know camera directly into the sun, but hopefully I've sort of organised it so it's behind a tree a bit, but it's pretty low. Let's just have a look at the sky. Can you see it's that sort of hazy cloud? So I'm hoping it's going to stay like that all day. And the volts are just over 50 volts, and we're charging about 14 amps. On again, come on. Come on. There's a good cat. And it's 1020. 22 amps. 52.8 volts. Although the wind's got up a bit, the turbine's doing a couple of amps. It's 11:50 and we're charging at 17 amps, but the wind's got up and it's just fluttering about. It was up to 15 a moment ago and we're on 53 volts, so the weather's changing. Okay, it's 1:45 and we've got quite a lot of generation going on. Where are we? There we go. 64 amps. Yeah. So there you go. And one of the charge controllers just kicked in slightly there, so it knocked it down from 64. I have installed another charge controller and that's the one that's doing it, and it is there, but I'll do more about that another time. 2:40 and the sun's starting to go down a bit and the wind's picking up, sort of blustery. And we'll just have a look at the Stecker charge controller. This is pulse width modulated, but the clouds are drawing in, so therefore solar generation is going down considerably.